Surprising, but that's true. 2 weeks. And preventing that from happening. What are the implications of that? Well, if the private sector supply chain is stopped, people who are okay otherwise, all of a sudden are going to face shortages, which is frightening. Okay? In essence, we need comprehensive approaches. Remember my principle? Complex problems, next, complex solutions. Well, this is it. We need to treat the response to the logistical response in the same way that we treat health, in which we try to have medical teams trained in how to do first aid and how to take care of that. The logistics have to be treated in the same way. Adding complexity to the thing, the implication of my lecture here is that you need to have a response that basically tap the resources of all segments of the civil society, the military, the public sector, the transport industry, logisticians, community groups, religious groups, everything. Resiliency has to be a civic endeavor from top to bottom. Everybody has to be involved. But how could you manage the same? In essence, we need to have logistic committees with representation from all the key players, from these collaborative aid networks, all the way to key companies and the government. In essence, these people have to get to know each other well before the disaster. One of the most memorable phrases that I have heard in my, I don't know how many gazillion hours of interview with disaster responders was given to me by a priest. The guy said, when I mentioned the need for this thing, he said, I mean, what you're saying is fine, it's correct. Because a capsize is not the moment to learn how to swim. It's too late. In essence, people have to get to know each other before. Why is that? Because if they don't know each other, they simply cannot help each other. Let me give you one example. As I mentioned, I was in Haiti 10 days after the event. And I found out that the Red Cross had sent their search and rescue team. These search and rescue teams are basically typically composed of responders with very basic medical training, basically just first aid, and but they don't have doctors or nurses. Then I also found out that that in the Dominican Republic there is an association of students and faculty of School of Medicine, and these people, who have no idea whatsoever about disaster response, were sending teams of doctors and nurses and students to Haiti. That was completely nonsensical because, I mean, disaster, you could get in big trouble in disasters if we are not properly equipped. And I told these people, guys, you need to talk to each other. And I put them in contact. And then these doctors and the students and nurses joined the teams of the Dominican Red Cross. And it worked like a charm. And in that case, by happenstance, I happened to be able to make the connection. But that's not the idea. The idea is that they know each other beforehand to join the resources in the most effective way. We need to control convergence. We need to control this precautionary buying. You need to design scalable plans. These committees had to be represented all voluntary groups. I mean, we're talking about the groups that could contribute masses of people. These are the important ones. This is different than volunteer management. Volunteer management is kind of designed to deal with, independent volunteers that simply come up to try to help. These networks, they don't need management. They need resources to help them do well. You see. Important in this, one of the big problems in disasters is the location of point of distribution. Why? If you have a large disaster, it's in a place like Rio, people don't know where to get help. And people don't know where to get help. This is the demand side. And then the outside help doesn't know where to go. Humongous problem. The supply doesn't know where the demand is. If you predefine point of distribution, there could be places where you get first aid and all of that, you could resolve this problem in one shot. People know where to go, and the outside help also know where to go. I have heard of dozens of stories. Mothers with injured children, that they walk miles because they hear that they could get help at that place. And they go there to find out nothing happening. And they walk to somewhere else. We need to eliminate that. Material convergence. We need to educate people about how to donate or not to donate, to send money instead, how to report supplies, how to do all of that. We need to have control systems. People are complaining to me in Ecuador, because we got a lot of junk. And I told them, do you have control? No. Control is difficult. Okay, well, if you do control what you get everything. You need to have control. What are you bringing? We have here basically used clothing from whatever. Okay, go to Terminal C, where that type of cargo is being handled. If you are transporting high priority supplies from established organization, you go through directly to the area. You see, you need to control that. We need to control precautionary buying, as I said. We need to preposition critical supplies. One of the big problems that we have is that disaster response plans, if you take a close look at them, are designed for the typical disasters. And then the assumption is that the locals could take care of themselves for the first 24 hours, the surrounding areas could take care of the help of the need for the next 24 hours, and then the national government could come at the end. You remember the picture of Minamis and Rico? Could they take care of themselves for the first 24 hours? Hell no. You see, all the help had to come quickly and from the outside. Again, we need to design scalable plans. I am not saying we need to design for the worst scenario possible. The worst scenario could be an asteroid hitting planet Earth, and we all die. Okay, we need to design scalable responses, and there are ways to do that. And technologies. We need to have we need to use technologies. We are using now, we have a very interesting project now, in which we're using remote sensing to assess damage on infrastructure to define the optimal access plans. What is the best optimal way to open access to the impacted area? Again, you could use that to increase the visibility.